right, good?
Yes.
So we're here tonight because a police officer, a sergeant in the Metropolitan Police Department, was shot while he was sitting in his car waiting for traffic to move in front of him. Fortunately, and for the blessing of God, the officer is going to survive tonight. But he was shot twice in the head, twice in the face tonight. So here's what we know so far. The officer is a sergeant. He's been on the department for about 20 years. He's 46 years old. He was on patrol on Hampton Avenue near Pernod when he was slowing because of traffic in front of him. What the officer can tell us right now is that a car pulled up on his left side. He was in a car by himself, the sergeant. He was driving. That car that pulled up to him, the driver pointed a gun at the police officer while he was sitting in his car. At least 2 shots came towards the officer from that car that he can only describe as a silver car right now. The officer says he saw the muzzle flashes and felt the glass breaking in his window as the shots came through and struck him in the head. The officer was able to get on the radio and call for assistance. Officers quickly responded to the scene and transported the sergeant here to the hospital. What we know right now is that we're scouring the area for video. We're looking for anything that can give us a better description than just a silver car. The sergeant is trying to see through his mind if he can remember anything about the driver or any interaction. This officer was not involved in a traffic stop. This officer was not trying to pull this car over. This officer was driving down the road and was ambushed by an individual who pointed a gun at him from inside of his car and shot out the police officer's window. The officer was able to again get on their police radio and call for assistance, and other officers responded to the scene. This just shows the dangers of policing, not only here in St. Louis, but around the country. There was an officer who was killed earlier today in San Antonio. It's a very dangerous job, and when officers are driving down the street and are ambushed, it makes us all take pause. So what we've done today is all of the officers in the city right now are riding 2-man, 2 officers per vehicle. We're scouring the neighborhood looking for video that can give us additional information about this, and we've called in additional resources, Special Operation, Mobile Reserve, SWAT, the helicopters in the air, trying to find something that will point us towards the direction of this individual that's responsible for this great crime. So I'm going to let the mayor say a few words, and then we'll take a couple of questions.
This officer was a husband. He is a husband. He has 3 children. He was protecting our streets. He was shot twice in the face without provocation. This gives us a very, very strong idea of how dangerous it is to be a police officer. He didn't deserve this. And looks like he's going to survive. He's going to be okay. But this is traumatic. It's traumatic for him, his family. It's traumatic for the city of St. Louis. He was just doing his job. He didn't pull anybody over. He didn't stop anybody. He didn't point a gun at anyone. He was targeted because he was a police officer. This tells you how dangerous of a job it is, and tells you how much we have to appreciate our police officers. We have to understand the difficulties that they go through, the sacrifices that they undertake to protect us and to protect our neighborhoods. And that all of us, as a community, need to do what we can to help find this guy that did this. Anybody that has any information about this, please call the police department, call Crime Stoppers. This person has to be stopped. He is dangerous. He will do this again if he's not stopped.
Chief, any information about maybe possibly the vehicle for the after carjacking last night, or what was shot?
We're chasing down all of those leads right now. This happened about 7:30, so we're very early in the investigation. I've talked to the county chief, to John Belmar. I've talked to Brett Johnson at the Highway Patrol. We're reaching out to our partners. We're looking at every lead possible right now, but it's just a little early to say that connection exists.
Chief, I don't know if you mentioned this, if you have, forgive me, but can you tell me the condition of the officer right now?
Critical, stable. He was talking. His wife is here. His family is here with him right now, and he's expected to survive.
You mentioned the guy is on the loose right now, armed and dangerous. Should residents be concerned in that area?
They're going to see, residents in that area are going to see a considerable number of police officers, because we're scouring that neighborhood right now, looking for clues, video, anything that would point us at the person that's responsible for this.
Have there been any threats to police before this?
No, and that's really, as police officers, as the mayor said, are out doing their job, driving down the street, to be targeted because he's in a marked Tahoe, he's a marked sergeant, he's in his uniform. When officers responded, he was still seated in the driver's seat, still had a seatbelt on, and his pistol was holstered. He didn't have any time at all to react to this threat.
Any idea what kind of weapon was used?
We don't know yet, and that'll be part of our investigation. We're looking for shell casings. We're looking for anything that can point to that. He was a second district officer.
And you mentioned he had kids. How young are they?
He has 3 children. We'll leave it at that rate.
And you mentioned the fact that you had kind of a vehicle description of any detailed suspect description.
So the officer was not able to provide us any information about the suspect right now, and we have a very general description of a silver car. But again, we're looking for video in the neighborhood that would give us some more definitive information about that vehicle.
Where do you go after people are afraid to come forward, they're afraid to say something if they know something? Why is it important for the public, in this case, in any case, to come forward?
You know, and I hear that, and we see lots of people come forward in Crime Stoppers. But if our police officers aren't safe driving down the street, if they can't keep us safe, if they can't do their job, we're doing something wrong. So anybody, and I really ask anybody that has any information, has to come forward, because it's not a threat towards police officers, it's a threat towards our community and our city. And anybody that has information, contact the police department, dial 911, call Crime Stoppers, let us know what you know.
Chief, was he traveling north or south on Hampton?
He was traveling southbound on Hampton, approaching Pernod, and the vehicle that we suspected, the information we had was that it turned east onto Pernod. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Hey, did you guys get any of that?